Ethan sat in his dimly lit apartment, staring at Aria's black coat draped over a chair. The clock flashed 2:09 a.m. Faint whisper echoed through the room. He turned sharply, but the apartment seemed empty. Or was it? Shadows shifted unnaturally, and an eerie hum filled the air. Reaching into the coat's pocket, Ethan found a small metallic device. The moment he activated it, a holographic message flickered to life. Aria's voice rang out, "You have to move." Before he could react, the walls of his apartment rippled like water. Reality twisted, and in an instant, his world was transformed. The familiar space around him melted away into a surreal, futuristic city, glowing neon symbols hovering in the air. Then, the mirror. Ethan froze. His reflection was no longer his own. It moved independently, whispering in an unknown language. Slowly, it grinned, and stepped forward, as if trying to escape the glass. A cold shiver ran down his spine. A voice called his name. Ethan spun around to see Aria standing in the doorway, but something was wrong. Her violet eyes glowed unnaturally, and her movements were off. "Ethan," she said, "you have to trust me." His fingers tightened around the glowing key in his pocket. The air around him flickered, glitching like a broken simulation. Suddenly, he stood in an enormous glowing hall, surrounded by floating clocks and shifting gears. The time hunters encircled him, and their masked leader stepped forward, his voice a cold whisper. "You were never meant to escape." But then a choice was offered. A terrible, impossible choice. Stay trapped in the time loop forever, or break free at the cost of being erased from existence. Aria's voice was barely a whisper. "Don't let them control the timeline." A giant hourglass flipped over, golden sand beginning to fall. With no other choice, Ethan grabbed Aria's hand and sprinted toward a glowing fracture in reality. The time hunters roared in fury and lunged toward them, but at the last second they leapt through the portal, just as the entire world shattered into fragments of light. Everything went white. As the blinding light faded, Ethan and Aria found themselves floating in an endless void. Shattered fragments of cities, glowing stars, and distorted reflections hovered around them. A deep, echoing voice whispered through the void, "Welcome to the Nexus, where all lost time converges." Aria turned to Ethan, fear and determination in her eyes. And then, the final chapter begins soon.